Hey, good morning, folks. AJ here. We've already started doing some work up here. Um, put some, as they say in the military, some smell good throughout here. So we got that taken care of. Looks like, if I fling you around here for a second, it looks like the capture card that I have here is DOA. So I'm gonna have to open this up and pull that card out, but video is coming through here into the ATEM. So worst case scenario, if I get this working, we could still run everything in here and prep it for the future. So anybody that's over here, I need to run the video out into here. I do have a HDMI capture card. So worst case, that will get us through for right now, into here. If I need, and why is that fan not spinning? Anyway, I got some other stuff I need to work in here, but I need to test the audio, make sure that's working. We get a feed in here. I'm gonna bring my laptop over here, and then I might have to run another extension to get audio. I'm using the monitor out here that will feed into the ATEM, so that should be fine. Worst case scenario, I'm thinking about flipping this around. So the ATEM Mini Pro that I have down here, I could always put this up here and I don't have to worry about a capture card at all. That can be connected over USB. And the camera will be routed here. I think I have another cable, so I can actually do the camera this way. And then the HD base T that I have here, I can just have that connected to whatever that's down here, so somebody can plug their laptop into there and come back up this way, or somebody would have to be up here and run the presentation. Now how am I going to get that down there? Just trying to figure out, because that's the display. I could get another fiber optic HDMI cable to connect the camera here. That would connect over here, and that longer one that I have down there, that can be the feed that comes back up here. So granted, I do have a bunch of other cables, but I hate having to dip into the stash that I have for other projects. I hate doing that, but that's the fastest way I can get something. So again, I'm not just using their stuff and then putting the stuff that I use back in that at a client. I'm not doing that at all. I'm taking it, putting it here, and buying a new one for the client, so that it's always brand new, just like we did with the switch. Brought the switch here, but I bought them a brand new one that's still going to be in the box. So I was not thinking I had to do that today. But anyway, let's go ahead and gut this stuff here. I'm gonna break all this stuff down, clean up all this mess, redo it, and then get the cabling there. So most likely what I am gonna do is either move the ATEM back up here, which will be a temporary fix unless I can get another mini monitor in here in time. Mini recorder in here in time, so that we can actually capture stuff in here properly through the ATEM, so it'll be the exact same setup here as it is in the chapel. So let me see if I can order one. If not, we're gonna go into the time lapse and we're gonna start cleaning this stuff up. Alrighty, honestly, it looks like I am not catching a break. I don't know. We did have a storm last night, but it looks like the motherboard on the system over here is partially burned or damaged, because the PCIe slots for the capture card are not working. The USB jacks are not working. So when I connect the ATEM that I had the other day that was working, it's not being detected by anything. I changed out the Decklink card to another one. That one's not working. It's showing up, but it's not responding. So I don't know. Thinking about taking it home to mess around with it a little bit. I do have the sound and everything set up. The ATEM, the television studio is somewhat working. I got image and the camera connected to it. Got to test the audio, but I need a USB-B cable to connect to it because that's an older one, and you have to have that to connect to it to do updates. So I'm gonna try and grab a cable for that. We have the digital signage up here right now. That's the old one. So now that it's on the network, I need to remote in and control that and change it and update the schedule because some of the schedule has changed a little bit. The switch was delivered. And I've been getting a whole bunch of emails. So let's check that and see something else. What's going on next? Man, what in the world's going on? Another day of, now I will say I did get the booth upstairs squared away, but I think the computer got fried. Part of it got fried because some of the stuff is not working, like the USB ports, the PCI E slots are not working. At least the additional ones are not working. Really don't know what's up with that. Still got to clean up the other two rooms, get the room set aside for Monty, figure out the flow. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna design this for Draw.io. I'll let y'all tag along, but it's mainly, like I said, it's meant for me to understand the logistic of how this stuff is gonna work. I'll be back this afternoon for choir rehearsal, and then I still have 2 more days. A bunch of everybody else is gonna be here on Thursday, so I'll have some more hands to help with that. But the main thing, I wanna make sure we get the stuff straight for sound, live streaming. Internet is fixed everywhere else because it looks like the back part of the sanctuary, those switches were blown out as well too, were fried. I don't have anything to supplement that right now, but the good thing is that's just for the back hallway, so nobody's going to be there and nobody's going to be up on the choir loft, so don't have to worry about that right now. Still gotta, I think I'm gonna go home, finish my other stuff. I gotta update the digital signage. We have one more person who's gonna be teaching, Pastor Thompson's wife. So they were already here, so that's not gonna be that much anything to do. I need to update the schedule now, but for one new additional class, that's not that big of a deal. But let's get out of here. Let's head home, do some more work. And I forgot to bring, I copied over all of my settings for vMix, but I left the drive at home. So I'm gonna take my laptop, because again, I believe what I'm gonna do is have my laptop run vMix from the pulpit. I'll have my PTSD on the floor there so that I can stream to YouTube, but the output feed I will send to the ATEM upstairs. And I never released the video yet because I've been so busy. I have the dock and everything with a Decklink Duo 2 for a church that same church that I'm installing in North Carolina, where I was able to get some of the other part, and I was able to get some of the Unify stuff from their install. So I just bought new ones for them. That's what was able to replace what I had here. But I have a dock that's going to connect to their Mac Mini. And it should work with my computer. If it does, then I'll run a connection directly to the back wall. I'll be able to feed multiple outputs into the ATEM so that I can get feed and do all that other stuff, lower thirds and all that things like you normally are used to when I do my Q&A. But it's hot. It's 88 degrees, but it feels way hotter than that. But we'll be back and get some more work done. Hey, good morning, folks. AJ here. It is Wednesday. We got one more day outside of today to get whatever done. The keyboards and stuff like that came in, so I set that up. Had to pretty much change out the Decklink mini recorder 4K. I had to change out the other one and put that in place for the computer. So hopefully that will fix that. Got the other room already set up. So like I said, this is classroom number 3. I actually probably need to change the names on here to make it easier for people to know which one is actually which. But we got all this stuff done. I gotta change this to that one, and we changed that to 4. This is just gonna be temporary. Then I'm gonna focus making sure we get a feed inside the sanctuary, in the chapel with the audio and everything. And then with that being done, we can kind of call the chapel done. I already brought my stuff up here to clean, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that Thursday, because I know some other people are gonna come in, so be able to help with organizing and things like that. So I wanna come in here and clean up as much stuff as possible. That'll be on Thursday, and do all the technical stuff today. I actually have to go down to St. James down the street, because again, we've had so many bad storms that I actually have to go and help them with their live stream, because their live stream and their audio has not been working since the storm. So that's only about like a 5-minute drive down the street from here. So I'm gonna go take care of that and get rid of these annoying messages that just insist for Microsoft to be like, why don't you register with us? Why don't you do this? I'm like, no, we don't want to do that. So let me get Rakira logged out of here, and I log in to the one that's for the conference. And then outside of cleaning and everything like that, we should be set to focus on the chapel today. Anyway, let me do this. We head down to chapel and kind of walk you through all that stuff we got there. Alrighty, folks, we got this here, we got this here, we got this here, and yay, we got an image. So switching out the card works. I'm also getting audio here. So if I talk in here, you see the channels are going here. So probably just got to crank that up a little bit for the aux that is being sent here, but we are getting audio, so yay. I'm gonna do a quick live stream test to classroom number 2. I'm gonna bring over my laptop here, because that's gonna mimic everything. So we're getting an image obviously coming into here. The computer feed is gonna be input number 2. But I'm also gonna connect this computer here, so if somebody's up here, they can run presentations for anybody down there. Now, the only problem is I don't have an out that's actually gonna go. Actually, I stand corrected. I do have an out. So if I run this out back down there, or the white SDI cable that I have here, we will get the same. No, I don't need to connect it to here. If I connect the SDI out to the ATEM and put a SDI to HDMI converter, we'll be able to have the signal down there. And I might not even need to have that loop out there, but I'll have that as an option. Alrighty, so everything is sounding fine. I'm still live streaming right now, and I did some mic tests. I need to get a USB-B cable that's long enough to reach from here to connect the ATEM. And then what I'll do after that is I'll repurpose that and then plug that into the board so that I can get rid of the gray cable that I have here that is connecting the audio into the computer. So that USB will send it over, and then we'll be able to control the audio from here. I need to get the converter. I've connected that white cable down there. I need to get the SDI to HDMI converter that I have down there to take care of that. Got a little guest right there, some moth. I got to come up here and just clean, because it looks like some of the spiders and stuff didn't like we cleaned up their home, so we got to clean that back up again. But outside of just that other converter and just verifying the sound and everything and updating the ATEM, we're good to go. So I would say this room is probably 95% done. So like I said, I just got to get a converter here for the white cable here, and then say input number 2. Well, actually, I have that connected to the aux. So really, I don't even need to have this converter hooked up to the TV at all. This is just gonna feed. So if a presenter has their laptop, we have a long HDMI cable, they can connect to that. This feed is coming, this feed is going into the TV, and we put a SDI to HDMI converter, and it is set to the aux. So once I'm able to control the ATEM, I will always send the presentation to this TV. And then I need to do a little bit of messing around so that we can do a picture-in-picture and all that other stuff down here, so that well, not necessarily down here. That's going to be for whoever is going to be manning the system for people to watch the live stream. Give an option of showing whoever's presenting, then the slides, and vice versa. So, yay, we're making some progress. So let me get down here, get my vacuum, clean this last few things up, get the feed in here, and then we'll move on to the sanctuary. Alrighty, so I think I got everything straight. Had to go back and forth a couple of times. So I don't know what in the world with the HD-Base-T adapter. When I connected it to the ATEM, it wouldn't work. I rolled all the way back to the ATEM Mini Pro, but then the audio was acting up. Then I was like, you know what, just forget it. So what I ended up doing is pulling the wireless adapter that I had in the sanctuary, brought that over here. So now everything is set up the exact same way, because again, it's a television studio, HD in the sanctuary, and here, so the exact same thing. So I know it worked over there. So I moved it over here, ordered another next day, different brand wireless HDMI adapter. Hopefully that will work. If not, I do have the SDI cable that's already in the ceiling in the back hallway near the choir loft. We'll just extend the cable there. Got audio going fine. Only thing I don't like is the audio is only on the right channel. So I think I have another adapter at home that will just go mono and split it so that it's going into the ATEM that way. I really wish I had a splitter, because then I could just split the main out and go that way. But I mean, the good thing is we got everything there. We got the presentation. I got the cable that's going downstairs so that it can feed out into the television down there. The aux out on the ATEM here does not work. So whatever is going to the TV, that's what's going to show up everywhere, unless I split the signal from the wireless HDMI and plug directly into the TV, but that is an option. With the television studio, you have one DVE, so I'm able to do a picture-in-picture for anyone who is presenting. So the TV will show their full presentation big for anybody that's locally here, but for anybody else that is remote, we'll be able to do a picture-in-picture with them, so they can see who's talking as well. Now, because inside of here there is only one camera, there's not one in the front, you're not going to be able to see anybody in here. So this obviously would not be a good room if we did the round table in here. But we got 3 rooms down. All I have to do is update my schedule a little bit, because I need to move Francisco's time up some, move some other people into different rooms. But I think we're going to be good, because day 2, we actually don't have anybody that's teaching remotely. So classrooms 3 and 4, we'll be able to shut down the rest of the time, but we do have it if somebody wanted to do something. I don't have anybody right now. But like I said, here, with this connected, we do have an out, just like the other Ori, so we could out this directly into the TV, and that's how people can see perfectly fine here. I just need to get another HDMI cable that's long enough, or I might switch these around. This, I'll let the transmitter sit here, and I just need a long cable to wherever somebody's gonna be. So I'm gonna put a table here so that somebody will have a workplace for their stuff and not just this podium. Probably set the wireless there, or like I said, a longer HDMI cable they can plug in, and then I can use this shorter cable for that. Alrighty, so make sure that the air is on so it will be comfortable when people get here. I'm gonna do another spot check here tomorrow, but as of right now, the chapel and the upstairs rooms from a technology standpoint are done. I do need to, I'm gonna put a couple of tables up here so people can have some workspaces to sit at and everything in here. So probably have it facing the TV here. So maybe like 2 rows or something like that, or a row where people can be comfortable to sit at and see. I have the keyboard. I mean, it's a wireless keyboard, so the computer can stay there, or I can even mount the computer right behind the TV. But that will be good. And I'm tired. I'm running around. And I have to go to, like I said, I have to go to another church that's down the street from here in about 2 hours. So I'm gonna see how much more I can get done. Like I said, I'm gonna be in here to clean up and organize. Need to get some new bulbs in here, switch that out, clean up and set up this room the same way. But as tiring as it is, we are doing good. Let's do an update and then shut down. Oh, Lord. So, I'm gonna migrate over to the sanctuary. I know Deacon Fisher is probably gonna be leaving here in a little bit, and no one else, to my knowledge, is gonna be back here. So, my day is a little short today, but thankfully, got a good portion of stuff done. I'll come back and get that. Like I said, I will be back tomorrow. To do the cleaning of the floors, clean up the rooms, organize that stuff. Some other people will start getting into town around about 12:30. And then I have to go to Amelia to install some stuff at Union Branch that will only take me a few minutes, but it's gonna take me longer to drive there than it is for me to actually do what needs to be done. Then after that, I will bolt back over here. I'm gonna order the rest of the food for lunch this afternoon. So give them 2 days to get everything ready. I need to pick up the stuff that we're gonna do for yes, ma'am. All right, a slight change in plans. Deacon Fisher is actually leaving earlier today, so I am not gonna have any time to really do anything else today. So what I'm gonna do is focus on packing up everything. And tomorrow, like I said, it's gonna be a long day. I gotta finish up my presentations, set the room up in here, food, all this other fun stuff. Still never set up this camera. But really what this is gonna be, I'm gonna plug this in, and that's gonna connect to my ATEM down here. But then the ATEM is going to feed back there with that other wireless HDMI that I just did. Or worst case, we hook up the HD base T and send it up there. I am tired, but making very good progress. I need to get a table cover for here. And like I said, I got to do the cover in another smaller table in the chapel. But we're doing good. I meant to do the video from yesterday, but again, we've been so busy. I did the diagram when I was here yesterday and was talking through with some stuff with Rakira about how everything's gonna go here. She volunteered to try and help run the stuff when we have classes, but I said, no, I'd rather you be in the classes and associate with other media ministries. So that's why we have the controls and everything down here, so that most of the people who are presenting know this stuff. And the few people who don't, there's somebody who will be able to pay attention to the class and be able to run it as well too. So we should be good. But let me get my stuff packed up. I didn't turn the system on, so I don't have to do that. But let me get ready to go down to St. James, and we'll be back tomorrow for our last prep day and then conference time. Yay! Alrighty, hey folks, it is July 17th. Man, we've been running, and I understand I didn't post any videos because I've been so busy. I've been recording, but been so busy, so I passed out and woke up this morning. I don't know if you can see if I move out of the way here. We got a whole bunch of breakfast stuff, round one of multiple, that I'm going to be dropping off this morning, then hitting back over to the church, and then finalizing a bunch of things, and some people are going to start coming in today. So this is what I want to do, is go through the diagram for y'all, so I can make sure I get myself straight, as well as anybody else. So I have like set up for how they need to do everything. So this is going to be the Antioch Chapel, and the sanctuary I still have to get straight because we have been so busy with everything. All right, let's start backwards first. We have the television that is set on the pulpit. We have a ATEM Television Studio HD. Have the computer that we had to rebuild. I don't know why I did this like this. All right, we got our, this will be our OBS system and our presentation system. Again, I don't like doing it like this, but hopefully in the future, maybe put a web presenter or something over there. But the good thing is it is mimicking the same thing it is in the sanctuary. So when people come over there, it's not going to be anything new from knowledge base. Have our mixer. All right. So we have the ATEM. Why am I doing it that way? I'm not fully awake yet. This reminds me, I don't drink coffee, but I got to make sure I go buy some coffee tomorrow morning for the people to drink it. Anyway, we got our audio from our mixer going into here. Oh, and I forgot our only PTZ camera. That's in the back. So for whatever reason, the ATEM Television Studio, the older ones, can only do stuff at 5994 frame rate. I don't believe this camera can. So as of right now, I had to put my up-down cross HD in between here. So this converts that signal into that 5994 the way I need it to be for the ATEM to see it without any issues. So that's HDMI to HDMI. It's just changing that frame rate. The computer here is connected as well, so that if people were doing presentations and somebody's in the booth, they can just run this and that would project here. I do have some work that I need to do to figure this out because this stuff is temporary. We also have a SDI to HDMI converter. So the program out, one of the program outs goes in, and then that's connected to the TV in the front. So that way everything can be seen. What I'd really like to do is maybe run this cable in the ceiling. And I think there is one already in the ceiling. I just don't know where it terminates. If I got time, I might pop the ceiling tile and see if I can find where it is when I get over there today. Also, we have that Decklink 4K inside of this system. So this is how this will naturally come into the system as well too. So that video out goes into the system. So this will be OBS that will stream it. We're getting the audio the same way. So all the mics and all the other stuff filter in the same way. Not a problem. I actually ordered some cables right now that are supposed to be delivered here in the next maybe 30 minutes that I'm going to split the main output so that it can go into the ATEM. So it will be mimicking the exact same thing that's going into the sanctuary. I normally don't do it like that, but this mixer, the monitor out, I think it's going to be a bit much to kind of balance that as well as the live stream mix. So that's what I'm just going to do for right now. All right. And so when somebody has their laptop in the sanctuary, the chapel, that's where I have the wireless HDMI. So that'll be the transmitter. So that connects into here. Then we have another one that's here in the booth. That's the receiver. So that way, if somebody is down on the floor and they want to connect in, they can just plug in and it goes right here. Now, the beauty of this, well, the downside of this, let me say it that way. If they're trying to have audio play inside the house, this will not work. There is a jack on the pulpit that I could retrofit, and I just need to have the right cable that can connect the audio out from the laptop into the audio out into the system, and that's a jack that's already in the floor. I just need to have a 3.5 millimeter that goes to a male XLR, and then that would work. I think I actually got an adapter here for that. But this is what came up with to get everything working in the chapel. Now, let me save this so I can, actually, hold on. So that'll be the up-down converter. Like I said, for a permanent solution, the aux out here isn't working. So that's what I forgot to do as well, too. There's also a line out here. So if somebody wants to see this natively, we would just run the line out. So it has an in and like a loop out in this transmitter. So we could just put that here. So that would immediately show the exact same thing that's on the TV that's being sent to the ATEM. So we got two options. Somebody can run it from up here, and it'll have the same feed with the camera and whoever their presentation here. or it could be nothing but the presentation, and the only people that see that mix of the person and this is going to be whoever is watching online. All right, so that's the chapel. Let's go ahead and save that. Now for the sanctuary, this is the one that I got to figure out today that we've just been so busy with everything else doing. I mean, honestly, it's going to be about the same thing. We have the A10 Television Studio HD. We have our X32. Here, we got more cameras here. We have one AI tracking, and we have a front camera, and we got a back camera, and a stationary camera. All right, we got that. Here we have, and I'm gonna put this up here because this is gonna be a input. We have our presentation PC. We have our OBS PC. Now this is going to be a little bit different because I got to figure out how we're going to run vMix for the Q&A that we're going to be doing Friday. So I'm going to take my Stream Deck with me down there as well too. So same way, we have our out. I mean, we have some more stuff. I have a hyperdeck in here that's recording. So the out from the ATEM is going to the hyperdeck to record, and then it actually outputs to this. The cameras are connected over SDI. I believe this camera goes through a converter, and that's HDMI. I think that's our static camera. I need to look back at the design that I did originally. So that's SDI to HDMI. Presentation system is also output. Actually, I have two outputs going into this. It's two HDMI outs, one for the stage display that's not really being used. I plan to use that. And then the other one is our regular audience display. All right. So we still have another SDI available. And the other HDMI is what I had the wireless HDMI for. So that's one of the other ones that I ordered next day that is supposed to be delivered today. So just like we did in the sanctuary, this will be on the floor. This would be the receiver. And then we have another one that will be the transmitter, so that if anybody has their laptop or whatever, they would plug into that. And then that would give another input on here. All right. So in this way, just like any presentation, it's the exact same way that we did here in the chapel. All right. That part is exactly the same. But now my stuff is going to be unique. The concept of this will still work. So for me, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to add, and I got to figure out how to do the audio part of this. From here, I'm bringing my ATEM Mini. That's going to be on the floor with me when I'm running the Q&A. I have another camera possible that I may use, and this is about to get real nasty and dirty and how this is set up. So I have my camera that I normally have behind me that tracks me. That one is when I have an aisleway. That's either going to be, well, that is going to be connected here to my ATEM. And if I have any other stuff locally, I can connect 8 inputs here, mainly because I want to have the my super source and all that other stuff connected as well too. I'm still going to be using the sound system in here with the wireless mic, so I don't have to really do audio here. And then the output of my ATEM is going to go here so that still feeds. So if I do the super source like you're seeing in this picture right now, that will be sent from the ATEM into the television studio, because the television studio can't do this. It just does like a picture-in-picture, which is, I don't want to do that. So that will be done here. Now, the other thing with this system will also have my USB feed here. And let me move this over here. So that way I will get video and audio into here, and then I can run vMix on this system. The only thing I have to figure out is how to get the audio into the system. That's the one thing. Just like that cable that I was doing, I might try and do the cable the same way. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the security camera. I think that's Amazon dropping off stuff. Hold on one second. All right, I was right. It was Amazon. So exactly what I was talking about. This is the other wireless HDMI converter. So hopefully that will work for our scenario. But that's what I would have connected right here. That would do that bridge. And like I said, this will send audio out. So even if I did audio locally, that would come here. The issue is getting the audio back into this. That's the problem. I could connect this over my my Bluetooth adapter, and that would send audio into here like I do at a choir rehearsal. So I might do that if need be. That makes it extra complicated. Worst case scenario, I do have it set up that I could just have my laptop up here or run vMix for this session. There is going to be an hour gap in time, so it's plenty of time to set up. Put vMix on here, and then the only thing is going to be controlling it from this distance. I'll use kind of the Stream Deck mobile app, so I can control this remotely. I've used that before, so I still got to figure that part out. All right. Now, in spite of all of this, let's now redo this again. And I'm actually going to do this when I'm at the church and show you how I got to set this up for our round table. So let's go ahead and save this. And then I'm going to save this as a version 2. So now, in spite of all of this, how are we going to set this stuff up for our roundtable? So the roundtable in this scenario, we're going to utilize this computer as well as OBS. OBS is going to be streaming the video and audio that's coming in from everybody inside the sanctuary that the cameras are capturing, and that's what's going to go to Zoom. We also have our audio from the board going directly into the system. So that's our second version of audio as a backup. OBS should pass the audio fine to Zoom, but I have a backup just in case. That's a USB from there. So inside of here, anybody inside the sanctuary is going to be perfectly fine to have all their audio and any of the cameras send back out into Zoom. That's not a problem. The issue is how we're going to have people who are in Zoom talk inside the sanctuary. So this is the same thing I did at Abundant Life that they were doing for a conference that they have the same time, I believe, on Saturday at like 5 in the morning with a church out in Africa. So we're going to have Zoom running on both of these computers. But because this is connected to the ATEM, this computer is going to be the bridge for if anybody's talking in Zoom. So they'll be on Zoom here. And in Zoom, they'll be on monitor number 2. Monitor number 2 is what will connect and go to our screens. So everybody can see inside the sanctuary of what people are doing. The other output, and then that's also going to bring the audio because the computer, which I didn't have here, the audio from the PC also is ran into the mixer. So if we play any sounds from here, will go inside the house. So video will go into the ATEM. You can put it on a projector screen. The audio of people talking in Zoom will go here. This is really just meant to capture whoever is talking inside of Zoom and put it up on the wall. We have to make sure because of our live stream mix, because if you look at this in here, anything that's in Zoom is going to come out. That's everybody talking. So that's going to come out into here, boom, into the house, into the mixer so everybody can hear. And then that goes into the ATEM, that goes into OBS PC, which goes to Zoom. By doing this, if somebody else is talking in Zoom, it's going to capture everything and send it into the house on top of whatever we're doing. So it's going to be a loop back. So inside of our mix, the live stream audio mix that goes to the ATEM, let me change this color. We need to remove this channel or this microphone that goes to that mix because we don't need to have the computer audio that's coming from Zoom go right back into Zoom because everybody in Zoom is already going to hear this person. The other person that's talking, they're already going to hear them. We're just bringing their audio in so everybody in the sanctuary can hear it. And by everybody hearing it in the sanctuary, this is just like another microphone inside the church. We don't need to send that channel back to Zoom because everybody is already hearing it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So by us doing that, the only audio that's coming here is just the audio of the people talking into microphones, but not this channel. So that's how that would loop. The only other thing I need to figure out is how to capture the static video of the cameras in the sanctuary and not, because the way Zoom is going to be set up in here, this is going to be set to always project on the wall. And that would be input number 1. If we do input number 1, which is here, that's always going to be what everybody in Zoom sees, which is not what we want to do. So I need to figure out how to have another camera inside of here so that we'll see people that is in the sanctuary. So if we had the constellation, I can have multiple outputs and I can route this to, hey, this is the aux out. No, never mind. I just thought about that. We do have an aux out in here. So I need to disconnect the aux out and connect that here, and I can lock it to the back camera or the front camera. And then that way, we'll always have a perspective inside the sanctuary that goes to everybody in Zoom that represents everybody in the sanctuary in person, but this one can rotate. Okay, I think I figured that out. So we're going to put that into practice there. And again, even with this RX setup, I mean, I might not even need to do this. I could have this same thing without being complicated here. And just like this transmitter, my laptop is already going to be here. I could just keep my laptop down here for me to kind of run the Zoom. And then because this is going into the ATEM, instead of just doing this, we can just let this stay the presentation PC. That will send it out. Boom, goes here. We just lock this to the projectors, the screens inside the sanctuary. And then we have the aux out goes here. So yeah, I think I might just do this and then I don't have to worry about this. And we just have Zoom go here. So many moving parts, But I think that's about it. I have a very, very long day today because I have to go out to Union Branch and install some microphones for them. Because I think the GTD audio that I gave them works fine, but I think they have a plastic casing. And I think in the same way of Antioch, that's what I gave them. And some people just over tighten them and it cracks. So we got them some Phoenix Pro metal microphones, and I want to get them in place because if not, I wouldn't be able to do nothing for them until next week. So that's not going to work. So I was like, hey, if you can get there by 5, I can go ahead or 4, get that installed, and I can get back to the church before male chorus, choir rehearsal, and then try and get everything else set up. I have not heard back from the catering for Saturday. So I'm gonna have to figure out something. I don't like last minute stuff, especially when you let everybody know multiple months in advance what's going on. But anyway, this was a compilation of Tuesday, Wednesday stuff, and this is Thursday morning. And we'll probably record some other stuff when we get there. I'm charging up my cameras and all this other stuff so we can do that. So I know Monty, Terrence, Phyllis, Dominic, and some other people are going to be here today. So we'll have some more hands. I still got to clean up the 2 rooms, set up the 2 rooms, the classrooms, finalize everything inside the sanctuary, test out vMix for our live stream. Because in that same scenario, my vMix is going to be streaming to YouTube. And then the same setup that we have with OBS, that's still going to be streaming to the website, the conference website. So joy. Anyway, folks, we don't have all the fancy stuff. Just giving you the background behind the scenes of whatever that's going on. So we'll be seeing y'all tomorrow at the Q&A, or we'll be seeing you if you're in person at the conference or online. So again, you still got plenty of time. You're not going to be able to put your food order in. You got to get whatever food is there. We have extra, obviously. But hope to see y'all there and really looking forward to the conference. And then also looking forward to the conference being over, so I don't have to do all this logistical stuff. But anyway, folks, we got you on the next video, folks. Later.